Good afternoon from the west steps of the Iowa State Capitol. The Iowa legislative session continues. It's been an interesting week. We've had a lot of floor action. There's been a lot of bills moving, and it's been coupled with some pretty large-scale protests from the Black Lives Matters groups, which have kind of changed the dynamics inside. And so folks are always asking me, what is it like inside the Capitol during the protests and COVID and this rush to get everything done? And what I would tell you is it's kind of a surreal experience. You have people with masks and without masks. I talked about that last week. Fewer people with masks now, just because I think as it's dragged on, we realized we're probably all being exposed. It's been challenging talking to folks because with the protests, legislators who had been kind of wandering around in the rotunda a little bit are spending a lot more time behind closed doors. So we don't have the kind of access that we're used to having as lobbyists, and that makes things a lot more difficult when you add to the fact that it's the end of session, and frankly, everything flies quickly at the end of session, and it's very tough to keep a handle on all the different amendments and what's moving. So their goal, theoretically, is to finish up by Saturday. My understanding is that they could probably accomplish that because they're fairly close on the budget side of things, and they're planning to run a bunch of budget bills today and tomorrow. Their bigger issue is there's some really strong differences of opinion between the House and the Senate on a number of policy issues. And included in that mix is something that does impact school districts, which is the SAVE bill that would put some further restrictions on the use of SAVE funds for athletic facilities and then go retroactively to basically say those actions of the board are nullified unless they take it to a vote of the people. So that is one of the things that's in the mix. In the meantime, there are a number of other education policy things that are sort of floating back and forth and moving through the process, although they're largely resolved. We have the big Iowa Learning Online bill, which became kind of the Ed Omnibus COVID bill. So it combines some changes in the Iowa Learning Online program, but then also puts into place some things with respect to the return to school in August and how that's going to work. The second big bill that we have is it was a beds reporting bill. It was designed to fix an error in an inaccurate reporting of a position, but we also were successful in adding language to that allows a district who misses the January 15th deadline to file with the SBRC their request for supplemental modified allowable growth for dropout prevention. It gives them an opportunity to come back and make their case that there was a good reason why they missed that deadline. So that actually is something that is applying retroactively to help 4 districts. So we're really excited about that moving forward. Otherwise, we're just watching the budget, and I'm here to tell you that, again, we have been assured repeatedly, and there is no sign in any of the budget bills that they intend to cut K through 12 education. And I think that is a really big win when you take a look at the cuts that are happening elsewhere or the increases that aren't happening elsewhere. So once we have final adjournment, we will do a final report. We will also do a webinar. We have it tentatively scheduled for a week from today that will really give you an opportunity to hear in depth what happened this legislative session and to ask questions. Obviously, that date will be postponed if the legislature doesn't convene. But as I close out of my hopefully last, Capitol Chats video, I just want to thank you for your continued advocacy because it really does make a difference when you contact your legislators and use your relationship with them to help them understand the impact of their decisions. So with that, we will see you hopefully on the webinar next Friday.